Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to look at edit mode. Edit mode is basically when you want to manipulate or change a certain object. You want to start 3D modeling. So to enter edit mode, you have to select a certain object that you want to edit and then simply press tab on your keyboard. You will see this drop down here at the top of the 3D viewport will change to edit mode. This is usually object mode. So if I press tab again, we are going to go out of edit mode and back to object mode. You can also use this little drop down menu here to change between object mode and edit mode, but it's easier if you use the tab shortcut. So click the object, press tab to enter edit mode, and you are now in edit mode. So very importantly here at the top next to the edit mode drop down menu, you will see these three little icons. Now the first one is vertices, the second one is edges, and the third one is faces. Now every single 3D object consists of vertices, edges, and faces. Let's see what they are. So if I select the first one vertices, we can select these points on our object. You will see there's a point on every corner of our cube. I can orbit around to see the other side. So vertices are basically the points between all the lines or the edges. So if I click on the second one, we are going to look at the edges. And now you can click this line, or they call edges in 3D. And if we click the third one, this is face select. So now I can select the faces. These are the flat surfaces between edges and with the edges connected. Now there are three shortcuts that you need to remember, and it's very easy. Number one, on your keyboard will jump to vertices. So now I can select the vertices. If I press 2 on the numpad, we can select the edges, and if I press 3, I can select the faces. So 1 vertices, 2 edges, and 3 faces. Now let's jump back to vertex or vertices select, which is 1, and let's select one of these vertices. You can either click on them or drag a box around them. And now we can use the same shortcuts to move, rotate, and scale basically. So I can press G to grab and can move this point around, and I can place it wherever I want to. And you can see that the cube shape is now changing. We can do the same with one of these other vertices. So select the vertices, press G, and move it around. You can also press G, X, and then it will only move that vertices or vertex on the X axis. You can also press G and Z, and that will move that vertex on the Z axis. And you can do the same with Y, so G and Y, and move it on the Y axis. You can also select two vertices at the same time, and you can move them around by pressing G. Or I can press R to rotate them like that, or I can press S to scale between those two. Alright, let's go to Edge select. So press 2 on the keyboard to change to Edge select. So I can click on Edge and I can press G and I can move that edge around. Click on another edge and then press G to move it around. You can also click on an edge, press R for rotate, and you can rotate that edge whichever way you want. Same with scale. So I can click on an edge, press S to scale, and that will scale the edge like that. And as you can see, this will give you a lot of control to manipulate these objects or this cube. And it can create something that's not a cube anymore. So you can basically create new objects by just using these three shortcuts, 1, 2, and 3. And then you can moving, rotating, and scaling the things. Now we look at the face select mode. So press 3 on the keyboard to jump to face select mode. And now we can select these flat faces. So same thing again, I can select a face and then can press G move it around, or I can press Alt to rotate that face, or I can scale it. And you can also use the same shortcuts for the axis, so I can press G and X and it will remove that face on X axis. Or you can press G and Z to move it along the Z axis. You can also select multiple faces. So I can click on this face and I can shift click on another face and it's going to select both of those faces. And now I can scale them, I can move them, or I can rotate them. Same with edges. So if you press 2 to go to edge select, I can select this edge, hold shift and select that edge. And then you can move them around together. I can rotate them or I can scale them. Same with vertices. If we press 1 to go to vertex select mode, we can select that vertex and shift click that one to select both vertices. And now I can scale or rotate or G to grab. So in Blender, you use the same shortcuts but in different areas, which make it so much easier to remember those basic shortcuts. So take some time to practice this switch between 1, 2 and 3 to select vertices, edges and faces. Moving, rotating and scale them around until you have something that's looking interesting. And then once you're happy with the shape, simply press tab to exit out of edit mode and then go back to object mode. As you can see in the top, we got object mode selected now, and now you can see we have created a completely new object from our cube. So this is the basic of 3D modeling. I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye.